What up, everybody? Kanan and Famous started off season 3 with an eviction notice on their door. So now they have to hustle up enough money to either pay off that eviction or to find a new place. Or they gonna be out in the streets for real. But the problem is that Kanan and Famous don't have their own hustle, a plug, or any type of way of making any money in the drug game. Last season we saw them selling rocks, but those were stolen from Rock's operation, so that was all profit. They didn't have to pay nobody back. So in episode 1, we see Kanan and Famous trying to figure out their own hustle. And the first move they tried making was to connect with the guy that Famous buys his weed from, a man named Simrad. And when Kanan and Famous went to see what's up with Simrad, he was playing a video game with his son, Romero. And the first thing that crossed my mind was, is that young RSJ and his father? The one thing that put doubt in my mind is that RSJ reportedly stands for Ron Samuel Jenkins. So I had to go back and skim through Ghost Season 3 and see if RSJ was ever called anything other than that name RSJ, or if his full name was ever actually revealed on the show. And it wasn't. So there's definitely a possibility that Romero is young RSJ. Also, if you shorten the name Romero to Rom, that is only one letter difference from the name Ron. So RSJ might actually stand for Rom Samuel Jenkins or something else altogether, because the name was never actually confirmed on the show. Also keep in mind that the letters S and J could represent two different last names, similar to the basketball player Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And his nickname for short is oftentimes just called SGA. And this is definitely a possibility that young Romero has two different last names because his parents aren't together and he only gets to spend a few hours a week with his father. So because of that, he might have taken on both his father and mother's last name. Also keep in mind that RSJ said his father was killed when he was still a boy. So it might have been after his father was killed when he might have taken on another last name. Maybe he even had a stepfather who adopted him or something like that. So what else do we know about RSJ's father? RSJ told Tariq that his father was a petty criminal. He ran numbers, and everybody told him that he would grow up and be just like his father. But he didn't let their expectations box him in. So we don't know all what Simrad is into and if he runs numbers. But right now we know he sells bags of weed, probably like dimes and dubs or something. Because I know Famous don't have money to cop much more than that. By what we have seen of Simrad, he could easily fit the description as a petty criminal. Also because Simrad tries to keep some things private from Romero, and Simrad only gets custody a few hours a week. I'm sure that Romero doesn't know everything that his dad is into. He just called him a petty criminal because he knew whatever his pops was into was making no real money because he grew up so poor. And one thing we know about RSJ is that he likes testing people. This was all Tate was able to tell Tariq when Tariq showed up looking to get dirt on RSJ, to force him to sign with Weston Holdings. He also said that he might put you in an uncomfortable position to observe your reaction, and if you succeed, he'll rock with you. Also keep in mind that Simrad turned down the opportunity to do business with Kanan and Famous, leaving them in a very uncomfortable position. An eviction notice on the door with no way to make any type of money. And Simrad wasn't about to give them weed on consignment because he feels like Famous will just smoke it all up and lose his money. Also keep in mind, they showed the names of the people from the video games a couple times. And it said Sean and Robbie. So because of this, I think Sean, aka Famous, sold his Nintendo for a bag of weed. So it makes sense why Simrad won't give them any work on consignment. When I first got serious in the game, I had a friend of mine ask me to front him some weed to sell. Not sure if I should do it or not. I called my plug at the time to get his advice, and he told me what I went off the rest of my time in the game. Don't ever front what you couldn't afford to just give away. This keeps drama away and keeps you from having to do something stupid to retrieve your money. But at the same time, after I'd been in the game for a minute and proved myself, my plug just showed up one day with a trash bag full of weed and started fronting me more work than I could pay for. The same thing also happened when I got into the coke game. After a few months of buying up front, one day my plug just showed up with about 5 times the amount I normally bought and started just dropping work on me on consignment from that day forward. So I said all that to say this. Was Simrad testing Kanan and Famous just like we heard it said about RSJ that he was known for testing people? Because we do know from the Season 2 trailer that Kanan is 100% getting into the weed game this season. The only question is, who will be his connect? Will it be Simrad? Or will it be the white boy on the corner who told Kanan and Famous that he's always hiring? Or will it be the OG Snaps Henry and his wife Pops Henry? Just take a guess how it may play out. I think Kanan and Famous will make a plan to rob the white boy who offered to give them a job. Then take the money they get from him to cop from Simrad and start selling weed. And I think that either Pops Henry or Snaps Henry will be Simrad's plug, and most likely Kanan will smoke Simrad to cut out the middleman and work directly with Snaps. And that will be how RSJ's dad was killed. But I also think Famous will be killed along the way, possibly in a robbery gone wrong, because all the scenes I've seen of Kanan and Snaps together, I haven't saw Famous in any of those scenes. Also, before I go, keep in mind that RSJ told Tariq that he did everything the right way to get to where he is. But he also told Tariq that if people judged him off the choices he made at 19, they wouldn't give him much of a chance either. So it does seem like RSJ did have a stint as a juvenile delinquent before deciding to get on the right path. And there you have it. Is Romero and RSJ the same person? Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.